Hello there and welcome to another edition of the program. I'm Victor Matthias. As the time draws near for the 2015 general elections, one thing that sure remains on top of the minds of Nigerians is the atmosphere that will be obtainable before, during, and after the elections. And that will be our focus on Channels Beam as we draw reactions from Nigerians on how to ensure the atmosphere doesn't get heated up to the point where public peace will be disturbed. But first, we'll take a look at the trending topics in the past week. Mother's Day. Mothers around the world were celebrated as the world marks the World Mother's Day. Mothers were appreciated for the love, care, and affection they show daily. Lekki robbery. A robbery attack in the Lekki area of Lagos saw 3 police officers killed and a girl. However, what got people much more concerned was the alleged demand made by officials of the Nigeria police demanding 100,000 naira from the girl's aunt before her corpse is released for burial. Well, that's absolutely sad, but moving forward, we'll be joining our guests on the Google Plus Hangout.
The problem with the accord is that the accord has been kind of suspended by actions of one or two of the major actors. For instance, just a few days after the accord was signed, we discovered that the president was stoned. The president was attacked. His convoy was attacked in the north. Naturally, and those that attack the president are people, young men, young boys that were chanting "Say Buhari," and all these things. And they brought down the president's billboard, posters, burnt buses, and all that. And when you look at the body language of the people involved, for instance, the main challenger of the president, General Muhammadu Buhari, just condemning these acts alone in pages of newspaper is not enough. His audience in the north do not read those papers. He knows how best to reach out to his people. If he had gone to BBC Hausa service to talk to them, and pass the message across to them that things like this will only harm our country and also harm the fragile unity that that our country enjoys. And things like this.
Let's get something very clearly. We're in a season where things are getting muddled up. We're a season whereby I don't believe anything except I hear you saying it exactly. I'm watching you on the live transmission. We're in a season of lies and propaganda. When the First Lady was reported to have said that, I doubted it much. And his SA Media actually issued a statement denying that very comment. And me and you know very well that the kind of opposition we are dealing with in Nigeria, talking about the level of sophistication of the opposition, I know that the APC, who is actually like a victim of that kind of a comment, will have gone to town with the video of what the First Lady said. Up till now, as I'm talking to you, there is no YouTube video or any video being circulated about what the First Lady said. And she said this thing, what she was alleged to have said, she said it on the public. And not Edie. I'm not standing in for the First Lady. If I've had this thing comment directly, believe me sincerely, I will tell you that it's not the right thing to say. It is actually unfortunate for anybody to say his political or a political opponent should be stoned. That is not the right thing, the kind of politics we are playing. And definitely such kind of a comment should be condemned by all Nigerians. And I believe that all Nigerians have reacted appropriately. The only takeaway for me and for others here is that people should be mindful of the kind of rhetoric, the kind of comment we make in public gatherings and during political campaigns, that people are actually watching our body language and utterances. And I believe that especially the top personalities there, the top figures actually should be mindful of this. And of course, that there is going to be a Nigeria beyond 2015, and Nigeria is certainly greater than all the actors today on the political scene.
So I think a clear message must be sent once again to all politicians that regardless of where you are, PDP, APC, we do not want violence. And youths themselves must also refuse to be used as tools of violence. Anybody who wants to perpetrate violence should bring forward their own children, let their children lead. But we must, of course, condemn the 2011 violence and tell them that a repeat of such must not be allowed to happen in the 2015 election, no matter who wins or loses.
Even Mr. President said it, that it's not a do or die affair. So a normal human being will not just start violence without his thinking faculty, that he knows that after killing himself, what will he gain? Nothing. So all he did was that it to spread it to all states, more especially states that might be, like, he's suspecting that there might be violence. He will go to those states and preach peace there, spread it to the masses that this election is not a do or die affair. Because if you kill yourself now, what will you tell God? That somebody sent you to go and cause havoc just because you want to gain what? It's not done.
I think that we are not doing the right thing in terms of the appropriate communication strategy, deliberately designed, to arrest whatever will be the outcome of the 2015 election. I'm talking on the premise of what happened in 2011. For instance, we know the states that are likely to have violence, and most of these states are in the northern part of Nigeria. What is that communication strategy in terms of campaign, in terms of language coming down to the level? I have not seen that deliberate campaign, not even from INEC, not even from the NGOs and civil society groups. Let us not deceive ourselves. The thing is this: they are also afraid to go to this part of this country to spread this, message. And we just have to find a way around it. And it is not being done. And we've seen that potential in the stoning of the president in some states in the part of the north. So I think maybe this is a takeaway. It's a takeaway for whoever will be listening to us, that they must do something deliberately to address this in terms of the BBC Hausa, VOA, and also getting the clerics, to sign into this and to key into this campaign to spread this message. Because those are the people, the opinion leaders that they listen to, and those are the people we can actually use, to arrest this kind of ugly trend in case, we might have something like that for 2015.
INEC itself is giving room for electoral violence, and I will buttress my point this way. You see, knowing politicians for who they are, this issue of this PVC and the issue of the card reader, we don't all behave the same way. If I go to my polling unit and they tell me that my PVC, is not valid, or my thumbprint is not valid, the way I will react is different from the person in Sokoto will react. You understand? At various polling units. So for me, I will be matured about it. I will seek maybe redress in a matured way. But in some areas, you will be shocked that these boys may start to slap the INEC official. You understand? They may start slapping him, and they can create a scene, and it will become very bloody. You understand? So INEC itself must think about things that may happen as a result of either their inadequacies or as a result of things that they put in place. They must make sure that the system works, because they are trying to prove a point. So they must make sure that the system works. They give room for civil unrest at the polling units. For me, this is more important than the threats that any of the candidates might be posing. Because if anything goes wrong at the polling unit, believe me, that's where the crisis will start from.
INEC issued PVC without a manual, indicating that it's a sensitive card. Up to this moment, as I'm talking to you, INEC is yet to do a deliberate campaign educating Nigerians that on thumb management. Are you with me? Now, in a particular polling unit in Kano State, over 40% of the people, could not, or the card reader did not accept their thumb simply because they were farmers. And that, INEC INEC knows that as an institution, that this election definitely will be decided more in terms of what do you call it, the accreditation process, which required the use of terms. Now, INEC ought to have done what we call a deliberate campaign on term management, so that people can actually keep their term in the right order on the basis of facts and figures. You came out, you told us that General Buhari visited Chibok. He never visited Chibok. You told us that General Muhammadu Buhari was conducted an interview in London. The interview never held. It is only APC that told us General Muhammadu Buhari did this and that in London without a video evidence. The same APC got an audio recording of Fayose, Obanikoro, all sorts of, and claiming that they are master strategists in the recording, in doing secret recording of people. The same APC who did this couldn't give us a video of their own presidential candidate, in London meeting Tony Blair. It's strange. Our politics don't supposed to be on this way. And let me tell you, before even the candidate of the APC emerged, a lot of mudslingings has happened. People have called President Jonathan names clueless, led by Malam Nasir Orifa and others. Sorry, I have to mention name. But immediately their own presidential candidate emerged. This also actually emboldened the camp of the president, Goodluck Jonathan, also on social media, to call their presidential candidate names. I have to say, we regret the fact that things just have to degenerate to this level, because ordinarily this campaign ought to be based on issues.
If anything goes wrong in this election, there will be a reaction. And if there is a reaction, the first people we are going to hold accountable is INEC. Nigerians are going to hold Jega responsible, personally responsible, because he had 4 years to prepare for this election. 80-something billion naira was provided at a time. Additional money has been provided for this election. Nothing must go wrong with this election. It doesn't matter whether he's reading card reader, whether he's even using science fiction. Let nobody be disenfranchised in this election, because everything that INEC has asked for, INEC has been given.
People of Nigeria, they should vote wisely for their candidates, and should not cause any form of violence, because it is to be disastrous if election occur with violence. And I just want to advise them to vote wisely and spread the news for spread the news for them not to cause any havoc in this forthcoming election.
Then the PDP and APC, the future of Nigeria is beyond President Goodluck Jonathan and General Muhammadu Buhari, and it's far, far beyond 2015. Election will come and go, but the role we're definitely going to play will define the going forward for Nigeria. Like somebody actually pointed out, our fear is that if anything should happen in the part of the country, there's likely to be, a retaliation in that part of the country. But we should do everything to, ensure that this does not happen. Unfortunately, just like Deji said, INEC has not really given us a good preparation for this election, having 4 years. But we have just 2 weeks. I'm encouraging all Nigerians, all stakeholders, to just support INEC and see what we can do to ensure that we have a hitch-free election.
Well, that's how they think, but what are your thoughts? Share them with us using the hashtag violence-free elections. We will take a break, and when we return, we will get more on how to ensure a violent-free atmosphere before, during, and after the elections.